Welcome to today's video. Today we're talking about that you can't hurt others' feelings, and if this is something triggering for you, then I invite you to embrace it and see that there can be another side to it. And it's simply because you just don't have such power to hurt someone else. But what we do have in our power is hurting ourselves. And talking about chronic physical pain, this is unfortunately what we do. And these are the patterns behind the repetitive pain. Those are patterns of us hurting ourselves over in a layer over an assumption that we're hurting someone else. But your reality is a mirror of you. Each and every person that is included and somehow in a relation with you, actually everything and every person and all your surroundings, are a certain reflection of you. So if you feel like you've been hurting, or you have had a situation where you have hurt someone else's feelings, that is simply not possible. And until we believe this, we can't see through it. We can't see the way out. And this is usually why the chronic pain can increase and over time strengthen so much and becomes such a load of we're carrying with us that we no longer have the ability to see through that, to see that we're responsible only for our own feelings, and also we have the power only over our own feelings, only over how we work with our energy, how we let ourselves also define ourselves with our feelings. Okay, so, and the way it works with an interrelation with something else than ourselves, speaking about people, so another person, it works so that usually we attract people that have common things. Okay, we have something in common with them, and if there's something we are triggered by in that person, then that is our trigger. And vice versa, it works the same way, that what we mirror that other person might be a trigger for them. So us trying to fit into something and trying to change or trying to behave in a different way can work only to an extent of if it's aligned with us. If us are changing our behavior is aligned with us, then we can change the behavior in that aspect. But if there is something that we will change and it will not be aligned with us, but we will change it in order to avoid hurting someone else's feelings, that can never work, because suppression of something that is consisted in us, that consists in ourselves, cannot be suppressed. And this goes to pain, this goes to energy. If that pattern is there, then it's an amount, okay, if that pain is there, comes from fear and tension, that is the amount of things that we have suppressed about ourselves. And coming back to ourselves, to the neutral state where we don't need to feel pain anymore, or we can feel relief instead of pain, where to that state where we are aware and we understand ourselves. So at that state, we must be the ones to accept the way we do things about ourselves. But we're not in charge of anyone else around us accepting that, because we have the freedom to discover ourselves, we have the freedom to embrace ourselves, and also we have the freedom to feel pain, and we have the freedom to continue in those self-punishing patterns. We have the freedom to act as a victim and act as lost and act as in pain constantly, act as hurt, act as why is this happening to me, or why are they hurting me. We have the freedom to be the victim and consistently stay in that pain. And we have also the freedom to be the creator, and the creator acknowledges the pain, acknowledges what has been suppressed, and is ready to accept it from within, and is ready to accept it about themselves, and why in that process people are coming up and start triggering us, because on the self-healing journey it's basically all about triggers, about learning what triggers us and what I mirror into that other person. And if I mirror something into that other person, therefore it starts triggering me, then I have the choice again to either accept it, because it's gonna be there. If there's something I'm not accepting about myself, I'm gonna be seeing that repetitively in that person. I'm gonna be repetitively annoyed with it, or on the opposite, I'm gonna be repetitively inspired with it. But both of those, all the aspects we see in others, are the aspects we only have in ourselves, because we can only see what we resonate in others. There's nothing else there. And especially something that is triggering to us probably is the most neutral thing to the other person, and vice versa. What you're triggering other people with is the most neutral way. You're not even aware of doing it, you're doing it subconsciously, and we attract and repulse each other. This is how we learn, okay? And the flow of life, the life experience we came here to experience, is for learning. And it's only about learning about ourselves, about what we're feeling, what our limits are, where they are, how we can move them, or like more like change them, expand them, or lower them. Okay, so this is all there is, and other people help us to see that. And whether it is something inspiring, therefore they help us to see what are our let's say positive characteristics, or they help us with triggering. And if that every triggering is a gift, because we have that in ourselves, and we can then choose if we want to accept it into ourselves, then probably move on, because that person, and then we have the choice to follow up with them if it's aligned, if we can accept it to that extent that it no longer triggers us in that person, or we accept it that we're aware of this but no longer want that triggering in our reality. Okay, that's the extension of what we have the power to do. And I talk about this because on the self-healing journey, it's a lot about acknowledging where your power is and what you're capable of and what you're not. And if something isn't your responsibility, something isn't even in your power, it's just to maintain it, it would require manipulation, and it would require so much energy to maintain a lie inside yourself, as is the self-punishing pattern. It constantly requires energy, and only through accepting it comes the relief, through accepting what is in that moment. And we're not capable of hurting other people's feelings, because we are only in charge and in a certain control in terms of observing of our own. And we cannot do anything about how people feel. and if they're hurt, if that's the experience for them. Because the one of the main points of this is that we again differentiate the positive and negative feelings. On the spectrum, we differentiate and we categorize and label that good is joy and good is happiness. But good is also sadness, good is also anger. Okay, because all of these, once we learn how to work with all of those emotions, we can have healthy boundaries, we can have maintain a healthy lifestyle on in all the ways for ourselves, to have a equilibrated mind, body, being. Okay, we can maintain this, and this is what the self-healing journey is about understanding what I need and how can I give it to myself. And this goes along with feelings, because often we identify with them and we categorize them. I shouldn't be feeling this, I shouldn't be feeling that. And this cycles us into a spiral of self-punishment. And this is when the pain originates. Once we deny something about ourselves, once we deny something that we're experiencing, or we just refuse it to feel that way, we separate ourselves from that feeling, and that creates pain. The separation creates pain. Okay? But at the same time, we can learn how to work in alignment with all of those feelings. Acknowledge, okay, anger, why is it here? What is it telling me? How can I adjust my boundaries? Until what extent do I want that behavior from that other person? Until what extent I don't. But we spend a lot of our energy, we waste a lot of our energy on trying to control what we cannot control. We can control how we react and how we feel and how we adjust our boundaries and how we accept ourselves, and what feelings we will choose moving forward to feel more of. We can control that. But we cannot control how others will feel. Even if we tried, even if we manipulated them to that final point, we cannot control those feelings, therefore we cannot hurt them, therefore we cannot make them better. We can only inspire by us being in a certain level of energy, or being capable of coping with our own feelings, and with that we resonate that final state, because our inner peace or inner disturbance or inner disharmony or harmony resonates around us. So we can work on that inner peace and that inner harmony to maintain it. As much as it seems that the inner the conflict is outside of us, it's always within. It's always inside us. And so whenever we're trying to control what we can't control, we're wasting a lot of our energy, and then we get closer to that burnout. We get closer to that exhaustion. We get closer, or more frequently, we find ourselves in pain. But those are things we cannot control. So trying to control them is only going to hold you back and take longer for you to realize. But it's going to be repetitively showing up in your reality. It's going to be repetitively an opportunity for you to learn from this. So it's going to be showing up in form of situations, in form of coincidences, in form of people coming up in your life. But at the same time, the most important, or the other important thing about this, that you can't hurt others' feeling, is to acknowledge that no one can hurt your feelings. Only you. Okay, and this is a big one for self-punishing patterns, for pain, because chronic pain often comes after some disturbance. After this belief that we hurt someone, belief that we didn't do something good enough, belief that we didn't go through that situation well, belief of something. There's a story behind it. But this is our story. And we then put in the pain, because we feel we need to be punished for saying what we want to say if in the past we weren't able to say what we want to say, for doing what we want to do if in the past we were conditioned that it's not allowed for us to do what we want to do, for feeling what we want to feel if in the past it wasn't allowed for us to feel. Because the scarcity and the lack or abundance, it's again a feeling. Okay, you can be abundant with very little and satisfied with yourself, and you can be very poor with a lot, not satisfied with yourself. Okay, the outside will never correspond to that inner, but the energetical levels, yes. Okay, the energy around you will always resonate your inner state. So what you're seeing on a daily basis in your reality is only showing you that inner state, resonating into that inner state. And when someone, one of my notes, when someone is triggered by you, then it has something to do with you only when it also triggers you. So when the trigger is mutual, then there's something in there for you. And the trigger is a gift. Trigger is activation. Trigger, at the other side of the trigger is the gift and the relief and the, oh, I see, okay. Which is on the other side of pain also. Always there is an awareness coming with pain. Pain never comes like that. Pain is a bunch of stories that you're telling yourself, bunch of beliefs, a lot of stuff, the accumulated fearful phrases, thoughts, the accumulated tension from experiences. Okay, so pain is never there just on its own. It's always, there's a lot of information in that pain. And if something is seemingly, someone hurts you, there is something connecting. Okay, there is a common trigger, maybe for both of you, because usually we can feel that we both can feel. Why can we feel that we're both uncomfortable even if nothing bad was said? Because of the energy. Okay, so you know there's something bothering you, but you need to find it within you and then come to that realization within you and understanding, like, okay, I'm changing. Okay, this is what I no longer want. Or, wow, yeah, it is actually consistent in me, what triggers me in that other person. So coming to that realization that's the only way that the situation will calm itself and disappear, basically. Okay. Not by trying to control whatever they're feeling, control however they are. You can only stay how you have it, you can communicate your point of view, what you're feeling, but you cannot interfere with what they're feeling or how they have it, what they're experiencing, because you're not in their experience, you're in yours. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm just gonna go through the rest of my notes. How to go through those triggers is by allowing the energy flow through you. Yeah, so it's good to not take action during triggers and allow them to flow through you. And you can locate them, the triggers, because always when the hurt, the hurt feelings that trigger is inside you, you can locate it. And this is how you know it's yours, because you can actually feel it somewhere in your body. And it's good to start working with it this way. Okay, locating it in your body. Where is it? Okay, what's it doing? What's the color? What's the feel? And then going through the layers. Wow, what's the story in here? What are the experiences? And it brings you back to those memories. It brings you back to where it all started. And if you don't identify it, you allow yourself to experience it. You allow yourself to see. You allow yourself to connect to that knowing, as I did the last video about, one of the last videos, about knowing and wanting to know. With wanting to know, you block the flow. With knowing, you're always connected. and you allow the information to come to you. And so only with allowing the flow, you can learn from that situation, and subconsciously you don't need to attract it again. So I think that's it for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for being here. Bye.